Hi everybody and welcome back to Wednesday Words. A little bit of a different background this week because heating needs sorting out in the little office. So we're here in the dining room, but I still wanted to connect with you. It's Wednesday Words. This is where we come together to talk about relationships with ourselves and relationships with others. And it's based on the questions that people are asking me and what's coming up in session. And this week, I felt that one of the most appropriate ones as we move from one style of lockdown to another style and we move into the tiered system is love in lockdown. And I thought today we'd focus specifically on addressing how it's going for couples that are finding that their long-term relationship, couples that are already together, living together, how are they doing in this time when the way of being together is very, very different? Because of course, for most people, they would be in and out of the house. For most people, one of them, two of them would be out at work. They would be socializing. They would have people into the house. The dynamics of the relationship would be shifting and changing. And it wouldn't be about you two together. And, you know, whether it's just the two of you or whether you've got family living with you, what we're finding is that people are spending more time together than they ever have and that they ever expected. And it, of course, is having an impact on that relationship. Now, some people are loving it and some people are struggling. You know, worryingly, I just want to make sure we don't gloss over this fact. You know, we have seen an increase in domestic abuse cases. We have also seen an increase in people filing for divorce. So we do know that there is some really, you know, difficult, challenging circumstances out there for people. But today, I just want to talk about the people that are doing okay, but this relationship is nothing like it used to be. You were not used to being in this same space together all the time. You were not used to both working from home together, and the roles and the etiquette of the relationship is feeling a little bit out of whack. Because let's look at space. We are not meant to be morphed into one being with our partner. It is important that we remain independent beings, and that is absolutely vital. So it's lovely that people say, I know my partner inside out. I can end their sentences. I know exactly what they're thinking and they're feeling, but you are still an independent person. You don't have to do everything together. We are not meant to do everything together, you know, and in normal times, you would be having time apart. So it's important for you to think about having your own space and having your own time. And it's okay for you to have a conversation that says, you know, if you can and you have the luxury of it, marking out those spaces in the house where that's where you work and that's where they work. Or saying, right, we both work around the dining room table, but that's work mode. So we're not really interacting with each other. It's okay to feel as though you need your own space, okay? You don't need to feel guilty about that because that's not how we're designed to be. So perhaps make an agreement that at certain times of the day or the week, you'll go off and do your own thing, and you don't want them to be in that space. And equally, they're going to do the same, and you're going to respect that they want to be in their own space, okay? It's really good as well to start auditing what the roles are doing in the household, because you will have fallen into a normal routine prior to this year of people doing certain jobs, okay? And they will do them because it's most convenient, or they enjoy doing them, or perhaps you're here more and they're not. And maybe that's all gone out the window because people aren't where they used to be. And people are in this space. Maybe people are doing the jobs that you normally do, and that's annoying you. Maybe they're here a lot more, but they're not doing anything because they don't realize that it needs doing, or it's just not how it's always been. Communication is really important. And one of the steps that I work with my clients is to ask them to audit what's going on in their relationship, and not to just assume that just because it's been done that way, that's how it's always going to be. And not to assume that your partner has any clue that what they're doing is annoying you or irritating you, because they're also adjusting to a new way of being. So when things are not as they were, sit down and talk about it. Maybe it doesn't fit into the new normal for you to try and carry on how things used to be. Sometimes you're going to have to adjust, and sometimes you're going to have to compromise. But what you need to understand is that the way of being with each other, regardless of what's going on, is different. And if you don't accept that and acknowledge that, then all those little things are going to become bigger. Because we know for a fact that perhaps there are things about your partner that really irritate you. But because they're not around, previously, you kind of let them go, or they found them quite endearing. Maybe that's not the case anymore, okay? Because it's in your face. And once things start to grate, you become what we call hyper aware. So now you're looking for it. And now every time they do that thing they do, your teeth are itching and you just really want to get that stopped. And maybe they don't realize that that's the case. We make a lot of assumptions that people know what we're thinking. In the same way, of course, we make a lot of assumptions that we know what other people are thinking, but we're not mind readers and everyone's trying to adjust. So accept the fact that this relationship is now in new boundaries. Accept that it's okay that you want to have your own space. And also accept that your partner will as well. Don't take it personally if you're quite happy being together 24/7, but that isn't for them. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean they don't want to be with you. It just means that's not how it was for them and that they need that independence. That's okay for them to do that. Be accepting of that and let them have that space. Have some good communication and work out what that looks like. When are you going to spend time together? And when are you going to have some time apart, as and when you can? And think about the roles and do that audit of who's doing what, okay? So that you, again, accept that just because things were done one way, it doesn't mean that they have to be done that way now. We're in a whole new world and it is having an impact on relationships. And, as I say, some people are just really enjoying that and you're hearing lots of stories, and some people are finding it really, really difficult. Some people are having lots of real trauma and challenges, and some people are just finding it difficult for no reason that this is not what their relationship was based on. Add into the mix if you're a family and you've got children or other relatives living with you, and you can find that things can feel a bit overwhelming. It's okay for you to say that. And it's okay for you to say, I need some time for me. I need some space. And we need to find a way to work through this. We don't have to hold on to how it used to be. You can evolve though. You can find new ways of being, but it is all about the communication. So the next topic I'm going to talk about, I think next Wednesday, is one that I've sort of been hearing about, which is what it's like to be single in these times and how it's really challenging for people to find new relationships, because there are rules and there are laws about who you can be with and how you can be with somebody now. This is a whole new world of dating and it's opened up some interesting concepts. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. But for now, I hope that this has been a little bit helpful for you. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. Relationships and people, we're complex, we're messy. You don't need to be perfect. If you have a question that you'd like me to dive into about relationships, either with yourself or with others, then give me a shout and you can get that featured on Wednesday Words. Take care, everybody.